You're watching South Asian Newsline and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 26th of December. PM Modi pays tribute to Sahibzadas on Veer Bal Divas. Pakistan's PTI party praises Trump's 8th call to release Khan, slams Shehbaz meddling. And Taliban summons Pakistani diplomat over deadly airstrikes in Afghanistan. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday took part in an event to commemorate Veer Bal Divas in remembrance of Sahibzadas, the 4 sons of Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Sikh spiritual leader. Addressing the gathering, he called the day a source of national inspiration for millions of Indians, particularly the youth. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also highlighted the pivotal role of youth in shaping India's future. He stressed that the country's policies, from skill development to the national education policy, aims to empower the younger generation. On the occasion, he also announced the launch of the Suposhit Gram Panchayat Abhiyan and emphasized combating malnutrition as a step toward a healthier India.
3 साल पहले हमारी सरकार ने वीर साहिबजादों के बलिदान की अमर स्मृति में वीर बाल दिवस मनाने की शुरुआत की थी। अब ये दिन करोड़ों देशवासियों के लिए, पूरे देश के लिए राष्ट्रीय प्रेरणा का पर्व बना है। इस दिन ने भारत के कितने ही बच्चों और युवाओं को अदम्य साहस से भरने का काम किया है।
The 4 sons of Guru Gobind Singh laid down their lives in the year 1704 while defending their faith during the rule of Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. While the elder sons Sahibzada Ajit Singh and Jujhar Singh attained martyrdom in the battlefield, the younger ones Sahibzada Zorawar Singh and Fateh Singh were brigged alive at the tender age of 7 and 5 by Mughal forces as they refused to forcibly convert to Islam. And on the 20th anniversary of one of the worst tsunamis to have ever struck in Indonesia and coastal areas including India and Sri Lanka, New Delhi on Thursday paid tributes to the victims of the incident. A 9.1 magnitude quake off northern Sumatra Island in 2004 triggered a tsunami with waves as high as 17.4 meters that swept over vulnerable coastal areas of Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, Thailand and 9 other countries. Survivors and family members of the victims in southern Chennai and Puducherry cities lit candles and prayed for the souls of the victims who died in the disaster. Locals, including the fishermen communities, extended their tributes. India, one of the worst hit countries, lost an estimated 16,279 people and another 7,30,000 were believed to have been displaced in the disaster.
We can never forget what happened on that black day, the 26th of December 2004. But as long as the sea is being tampered with, this is going to happen repeatedly. If you want to save the coast, the coastal communities, the entire planet and the seas, it should be ensured that no harm is done, no damage is done to the sea.
Meanwhile, hundreds of Indian Ocean tsunami survivors and family members of the victims commemorated its anniversary in various parts of Indonesia. Family members of the deceased gathered at a mass grave in Uli Leshi village, scattering flower petals on gravestones. Many were seen crying and hugging their family members.
Jadi saya korban orang tua di Melabu. Jadi kalau di Melabu itu kuburan massalnya jauh dari kota. Jadi kalau saya ke Melabu kadang nggak ke kuburan massal kan, karena jauh. Jadi orang tua juga nggak dapat, adik, abang, mama. Jadi di sinilah saya yakin dimanapun mereka jasadnya pasti doa kita akan sampai seorang anak pada ibunya. Jadi itu aja niatnya, yakin.
Moving on. Pakistan's PTI party has welcomed the pro-Imran Khan statement from Richard Grenell, US President-elect Donald Trump's nominee, as envoy for special missions, with the ruling Shehbaz Sharif-led government slamming the foreign interference in the country. Grenell, who is also a close confidant of Trump, garnered attention in Pakistan when he demanded the release of Imran, who was ousted in April 2022 through a parliamentary no-confidence vote. In a statement, PTI chairman Barrister Gohar Ali Khan said they want Imran's freedom in accordance with the constitution and law of Pakistan. PTI founder will be released through the courts. Following Imran's removal from Prime Minister office through a vote of no confidence, the PTI founder, who remains incarcerated at Adiala jail since August last year, had previously alleged that the US was behind his ouster in 2022, citing a purported cipher linked with the US diplomat Donald Lu. Notably, Khan had good relations with Trump when he was the president and held several meetings with the president-elect, including at the White House. Following Pakistan's airstrikes in Afghanistan's Barmal district, the Taliban's Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Wednesday summoned the charged affairs of the Pakistani embassy in Kabul to lodge a protest against Islamabad's actions. In a statement shared on X, the Taliban's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Hafiz Zia said that the de facto authorities had lodged a strong protest categorically condemning the airstrikes. The statement described the violation of Afghanistan's airspace and the killing of civilians by the Pakistani military as deliberate attempts to undermine trust and create frictions in the relations between the two nations. The statement further emphasized that the Taliban strongly rejects any breach of territorial integrity and remains firmly committed to defending Afghanistan's sovereignty. Furthermore, the Pakistani side has been clearly informed that protecting Afghanistan's national sovereignty is a red line for the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, and such actions are viewed as highly irresponsible and will inevitably bear repercussions, Zia said. The strongly worded response comes after Pakistan's bombardment in Afghanistan's eastern Paktika province on Tuesday, which killed at least 46 people, most of whom were women and children. Speaking to Reuters, officials indicated that Pakistan had carried out airstrikes against a camp of the Pakistani Taliban Islamist militant group. Islamabad has repeatedly alleged that several TTP attacks within its borders are being launched from Afghan soil, a charge the Afghan Taliban denies. Moving on. Sri Lankan ambassador to Moscow, Pakir Amza, on Wednesday said that President Anura Kumara Dissanayake has expressed interest in joining BRICS in a letter sent to Russian President Vladimir Putin in October, and the country expects a positive response in 2025 to join the organization. Amza said the island nation has also addressed other BRICS countries with a request to join as a partner country. He said Sri Lanka views BRICS as an effective partnership to realize its aspiration for mutually beneficial cooperation, peace and development through strengthening comprehensive multilateralism within the framework of the UN Charter. In December, the Sri Lankan leader asked Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to support Colombo's bid to join BRICS. BRICS is an intergovernmental association created in 2006. Russia assumed the rotating presidency of the bloc in 2024. The year began with the accession of new members to the association. In addition to Russia, Brazil, India, China and South Africa, it now includes Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. Recently, 9 countries also have shown interest in joining the bloc. Days after Bangladesh formally requested India for the extradition of ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Dhaka has stated that the next step will depend on India's response to the request. Responding to a query about the extradition, Bangladesh Foreign Ministry spokesperson Rafiqul Alam said that Dhaka would wait for India's reply before deciding on the subsequent course of action. He noted that while the extradition treaty has no specific time limit, Dhaka would wait for a certain period. If we don't get any response within that time, we will issue a note of urgency. We will inform them that we are expecting a response in this regard, he was quoted as saying by local media. Sheikh Hasina, a 4-time Prime Minister, reportedly fled to India hours before an angry mob stormed her official residence in Dhaka. The protest, which initially began as a movement against public sector job quotas, escalated into one of the deadliest unrest since Bangladesh independence in 1971, culminating in a mass uprising against Hasina. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.